Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. So in today's video I thought I would share with you what's in my nappy caddy plus some nappy hacks. So I really hope that you enjoy this video. So first things first, I'm showing you what's in my nappy caddy. So this is it here, and you may have seen this in another video. I did a newborn hacks and essentials, which it's probably made an appearance in maybe both of those. So I've got this one which is striped, and then I've got a plain one downstairs. And as you can see, it's pretty full, but like I said, it's probably not as much stuff as I would have had in there before. So it's kind of got three compartments. It's got a big one here and then two smaller ones here. So in that big main compartment, I try and keep the things that relate directly to changing his nappy. So firstly being, of course, nappies themselves. And we used to make Bamboo. We used to use Pampers Pure when Arthur was first born. I used to buy them in bulk, but now we have switched to these ones. They are biodegradable too, which is great, and they're all kind of natural. They haven't got bleach and chlorine and any of the nasty stuff there, and we really like these. We do buy these in bulk too. And then obviously we've got wipes as well, and we've used water wipes since Arthur was newborn. When he was very newborn we used just water and cotton wool, but then we kind of switched to these. And to be honest with you, we've tried a couple of other different wipes that are kind of more natural. Obviously these are 99.9% water, which is great. But yeah, none of the other wipes seem to really compare. I just don't find them as wet. These are really wet. So they are a bit more expensive, I know, than kind of, you know, maybe own brand wipes. But I really like the fact that they're basically so pure. And we do buy these in bulk as well, so it is cheaper. Then I've just got a nappy cream. So this is the Weleda calendula one, and again this is the only one that I've ever used. As you can see, we need a new one, and just really good for baby's delicate skin, so that's in there too. Then I keep some nappy bags, so this is just for like really dirty ones. And I also keep one of these in here, which is kind of like a big mat sort of thing, and I've just found that super helpful. But I will kind of talk about everything in my nappy hacks part of this video. But yeah, I always just like to keep one of those in there. So in one of the smaller compartments I just keep some like the soft materials. So I just keep a spare bodysuit and a sleep suit in there, just because when the baby is really young, if they do a dirty nappy and it leaks, you don't want to be kind of leaving them. It's a bit of an ordeal when they're so young having their nappy changed. So just having some spare clothes in here is really handy. And I also keep in here a muslin too. And Arthur we don't really use muslins that much anymore, but definitely when he was young it was really helpful. They're useful for so many things, any like leaks, spillages, babysit, anything really. So I always keep at least one in the nappy caddy. When Arthur was younger, I did used to keep cotton wool in the nappy caddy too. I don't do that anymore, but as I said, I used to use it on his bottom just for wiping it, or you know, if he had an eye that needed wiping, it was just useful to keep that in there. And then kind of the other little compartment, I just keep things like moisturiser, so I use the Child's Farm. Things like vitamin D drops or nasal drops I keep in there too. I've got some hand sanitizer. Again, nowadays I can kind of just like wash my hands after, and sometimes obviously I did when he was younger, but if he was a bit upset, just having a bit of hand sanitizer handy was really helpful. As I said, I have got another nappy caddy downstairs, so that's got his hairbrush and a comb. I've just got this random spare comb up here, but yeah, the one downstairs has got his hairbrush and nail scissors, things like that for him. I've got some nipple balm here, so this is the Lancino. It's like the new version of their nipple cream. And then I also just used to keep breast pads in there. I don't really need them or use them anymore. But yeah, I used to keep kind of those little supplies for me in the nappy caddy too. And then finally, I'll just show you our changing mat. So this is fairly new actually, this one. I really like it. We did have another one, but it just got a bit broken and a bit torn. So we have bought a new one. They're actually by the same company, but I bought both from Amazon. So I will link those, and everything that I talk about I will try and find and link for you in the description box below. So I think that is everything that is in my nappy caddy, or at least has been in my nappy caddy previously when Arthur was little. As I said, really nowadays I tend to mainly just keep the nappy change and stuff and a few other bits and bobs in there. But hopefully that's covered everything for you, and let's get on to the nappy hacks. My first hack is actually to have two caddies, so keep one upstairs and one downstairs. So I always used to keep one upstairs in our bedroom for those overnight changes, and then one downstairs. It just saved kind of carting the stuff back and forth up and down the stairs every day, so that's definitely worthwhile doing. My next tip is to say to buy one of these changing mats. I personally don't think, and I haven't ever used, a changing table. Obviously when they're on the changing mat, they're on the floor, so you know that they are safe and they're not gonna like roll off anywhere, or at least obviously when they're a bit older they can roll off, but they're on the floor. Whereas obviously if they're on a changing table, they're up high, you can't leave them because it's obviously just not safe to do so. You can also buy these mats for so cheap. I think the cheapest I've ever seen one was around £7. I think ours was about £10 or £12, so much cheaper than a bit of furniture. I just want to touch on a couple of hacks or nappy tips for when you are on the move in the car. So obviously always have your portable changing mat, which I do keep in our nappy bag, but also just keep an extra supply of things in the car. For example, just in case you ever do forget your nappy bag, or just so that it's handy and you've got a bit of kind of an extra oversupply of things in the car. So you might want to keep a few nappies and a few wipes. When I'm changing Arthur in the car, I just hang the little orange nappy bag on his car seat. It's just there and I get everything out ready, just so it is really quick, because it's not that easy changing a baby in a car, as you will know if you have done so, but just getting everything around you, hanging the little bag on his car seat just makes things a little bit quicker and easier. So a really good nappy hack is to buy things in bulk. As I mentioned before, we buy both our nappies and our wipes in bulk, and you can buy these on Amazon. There are also other companies that you can buy things in bulk from, and it just saves time and it saves money too. When you are getting ready to change your baby's nappy, the first thing to do is to just look, have a little peek inside and see what you're going to be dealing with. My advice, if you are dealing with a big dirty nappy, and if it hasn't already leaked, which is good, what I would do when you've got your baby down on the changing mat is just roll their clothes up first before you get everything out, because if it does start leaking whilst you're doing anything else, it doesn't need an outfit change. So as I said, make sure everything is ready to even get your wipes out, get your nappy kind of flat and everything set out, just so that it's much quicker to change baby. A really good tip is to put your new nappy underneath the dirty one whilst it's still on. So obviously undress them and, you know, get their legs out of their sleep suit or whatever, and then just pop your clean nappy underneath their bottom, so it just makes it quicker. But also, particularly boys, if there is any kind of wheeze that they're about to do, just kind of flip it over and you're done. A great tip that most nappies do now have is the line. So I think it's around the same colour usually, so because both Pampers and these ones have a yellow line when it's dry, so when you get it out and put it on them, that line is yellow, and then when baby does a wee, the line changes blue. So when you're looking to see if your baby does need a nappy change, if the line has changed colour, you know that it's wet. But yeah, so just make sure when you're buying and choosing nappies that they have that colour change line, because it is really helpful. As you kind of get more experience and your baby gets older, like I don't really need to look at that line, but definitely when they're newborn it was really helpful. If you know that you are dealing with a very dirty nappy, then it might help to have one of these blue mats, and you can buy this for really cheap. Again, we got a big box in bulk, but I have also seen them in the pound shop. You can just buy them. People can also buy like doggy ones as well, apparently. They're kind of like a similar thing, and it might just help. It kind of saves you getting it on your changing mat if it's kind of that messy, and also it's just a bit more hygienic because you can just kind of put everything on here, just roll it all up and chuck it away. So that's really helpful. I also use these when we are out and about. Again, if your portable changing mat isn't big enough, you can just kind of pop this under baby's feet. You can put it underneath them in the car. So I also take one of these with me wherever I go. Now, changing mats are plastic, so they are very cold, and particularly at night I always used to worry for poor Arthur getting changed. It's just not very nice kind of being on a cold mat. So again, you can use one of these underneath just so they're not on a cold mat. Or sometimes I would even put a muslin just underneath him, like under his top part or just his head, just so that he wasn't too cold. So my favourite ever nappy hack that I've started doing, and I haven't seen this anywhere, I'm sure other people do it, I'm sure I haven't like made it up or anything. I might have done. Do let me know if you've seen this anywhere. It's actually to roll your nappy up. So when it's after you've kind of taken it off and you've got your wipes on it, if you kind of roll it front to back and then just flip over the sticky tabs, so that you just make a really nice little parcel and it just keeps everything contained. Obviously if it's super messy you might not be able to do that, but most of the time I do that, and I just think it's a bit nicer for when it's in your bin, or even if you're out and it's in a bin somewhere, like people aren't opening it and kind of faced with your dirty nappy. It's not very pleasant, but the way I do, I just fold it all up, makes a lovely little parcel, and I just think it's much neater and nicer. If you are dealing with a particularly messy one, then having these nappy bags are really, really useful. Now, if I were to buy them again, I would buy kind of more eco-friendly ones, or ones that degrade, because these aren't very environmentally friendly. But I just bought these from the pound shop ages ago when I was pregnant, actually, and I still got some left, so I don't use them all the time. I only use them, one, if we're out and about and there's no bin, like if we're in the car, for example, or if it's a really, really dirty, messy one, then just having a little supply of these is really, really helpful. If your baby's nappy does leak and it's a dirty one, don't throw away your clothes, don't panic. All you can do is just try and get out as much of the stain as possible as soon as possible, so just under the tap with some hot soapy water, and then just pop it outside into the sunlight. And I've spoken about this in my newborn hacks video and also my natural cleaning hacks video. Sunlight is brilliant for helping to bleach out those poop stains, so be sure to do that, and it means you don't need to chuck out any clothes. The sun, and you're washing it, just pop it in the wash after, it should get rid of it all completely. If your baby has done a dirty nappy, rather than rolling your vest up, and that means if it's leaked onto their bodysuit, it's going to go over their heads, which isn't very nice, and you're going to end up with it everywhere. Bodysuits are designed to be rolled down, so when they've got this, I think they call it an envelope neck, this bit here, they're actually designed to kind of widen and roll down over the baby, so you're not pulling any dirty nappy stuff over their head. Also, if it's a dirty nappy, you can do the first wipe with the old nappy. If it's not too dirty, obviously, you can just use that to do the first wipe and get most of the dirty away. Particularly with boys, when the cold hits them, it can make them do a little wee. So either you can use a cold wipe just to wipe their tummies to kind of make that reflex go, or just wait a little while after you've undressed them for them to do that first initial little wee, so that you don't get any spillages anywhere. Overnight, it's really hard when you have to change the baby's nappy. It's just not very nice for them. So to make it a bit easier, I always used to just set everything up. So I have my changing mat. I would maybe put the blue mat on the changing mat too. I would unroll the nappy. I would get the wipes there, maybe get a little bag ready. Just have everything set up so that it's much quicker overnight. And that is really good for you and the baby too. Make sure when you're putting the nappy on the baby that you pull out the ruffles around the leg. So that is meant to help stop any leakages. So once you've done up the nappy, just run your fingers around their legs and make sure you've pulled out that kind of elastic and ruffles, and that will help with any leakages. Also, once you've put the nappy on the baby, just make sure it's pulled up at their back. It's all up nice and tight to their skin. To entertain baby, or to distract them, or to stop them putting their hands and arms everywhere, just make sure you've got a couple of toys handy, something a bit maybe different for the baby so that they'll be super interested in it. Make sure it's something that can be wiped clean just in case they put it anywhere near their dirty nappy, but that is really a good tip just to make sure that they are distracted. Wipes also work brilliantly, so sometimes I just give Arthur a pack of wipes and he will happily hold those and I can get on and deal with his nappy. When baby is a bit younger, to keep their arms still, you can actually roll the vest over their arms, and that just kind of traps them. Now, the last few things I just want to say is kind of just a bit of mum advice really. So think whether you want to feed first or change the nappy first. Now, I think there's like an acronym, I think that's the right word, and it does actually say to feed the baby first, so that always comes first. However, I know some people say if their baby has reflux, they don't really want to feed the baby and then put them down straight away to change the nappy, because obviously that will hurt their baby's tummy. So just think what is going to work best for you and baby, and it might work one way best for you, or it might work the other way. But I'm just maybe trying to say to you just a bit of advice, maybe just to try out both ways, and just to think of both ways and see what works best. Another little nappy tip that I would just say, and this is my last one, is actually maybe you don't need to change it as often as you think. Don't worry, it's not as bad as it sounds. Obviously, if your baby's nappy is very wet and dirty, you need to change it. But I'm thinking about overnight, if your baby is constantly waking up, it might not always be that they need a nappy change every time. You may already know this and you may already not change the nappy, but I think I was so worried. I probably used to change it every time and I probably didn't always need it. If it's only a little bit wet, then maybe it doesn't need it. Of course, you know your baby best. You know, if they've got really sensitive skin, or if they are newborn when their skin is so delicate and fragile, or maybe they're prone to getting a very sore bottom, or they've got eczema, or whatever it is, then maybe you do still want to change it every time. But I'm just saying to you, if you don't think it needs changing, then don't worry. I definitely used to worry about things like this, but if you don't think it needs changing as frequently, or if you look at it and think, oh, it's just a bit wet, I can probably just leave it, then that's okay. It's not necessarily a bad thing, but again, it's whatever works for you. You know your baby's skin, but I'm just kind of putting it out there. Those two last little tips, just for you to have a little think about. So those are all my nappy hacks and my tips for changing your baby's nappy. I really hope that you found those helpful and that you heard something new today. If you have any other hacks or tips, then do comment and leave them below. I would love to hear them. I'm sure once I've stopped filming this, I'll probably think of more. So it'd be great if you've got any more, just to leave them in the comments below. If you did enjoy this video, then don't forget to put the thumbs up. And if you like motherhood videos, then I'd love to have you as a subscriber. So don't forget to hit that subscribe button too. I would love to have you here. But yes, thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope that you enjoyed seeing all my nappy hacks and what's in my nappy changer bag too, because it's taken me so long to do it. But I really hope that you enjoyed seeing it, and I would love to see you in my next video. Bye everyone!